Hmm. What else should we put as a goal, guys? I think our other goal, honestly, is going to be to start setting up some sort of storage. Picking a spot to set up that storage for us. So let's see. Let's go ahead and let's put that on the list as well. Alright, we're gonna try and find a doggo to adventure with too. I feel like that might help keep us a little bit safer. I feel like, the dogs kind of help keep you a little bit safer in Minecraft. Alright, so we'll put that on the list as well. I think these are some good ones to start with. Oh man, it's gonna get rainy and stormy on us again here. Don't get me wrong, I love the rain. But one thing I don't love is the rain in Minecraft in a hardcore world, especially when it leads to a storm. When you get a thunderstorm and some crazy stuff starts spawning, and you're still pretty new into your hardcore world, that can be kind of scary. We're gonna stick pretty close to our bed for a minute, see how this plays out. If this gets a little too deep and starts thunder and lightning, we're just gonna go ahead and rest through it. For right now, the light of the lava pit should keep me lit up just enough so that we don't have to worry too much about the spawning, hopefully. Awesome, guys. Like that, I just got an announcement that we have completed our second pathway towards becoming an affiliate. So thank you so much for following. Any support is helpful, but really we're mainly just here to add to the vibes, add to the growth of, just the group of us out there who are trying to keep it chill, build together, learn together, and create kind of a community, right? So I appreciate it. We're going to keep on pushing on Minecraft here. I think that honestly, one of these first goals we're going to be working towards hitting is going to be this one right here, the villager breeder materials gathered. I found a pretty easy villager breeder. Make sure I figure out who that's from, so I give the credit where the credit's due before I go building it on my stream and making you guys a part of it. I want to make sure I'm giving credit where credit's due for sure, especially with some of these farms that I'm just going to be learning about, on Bedrock, I was getting to the point, you guys, where I was a little more comfortable with the mechanics of how things worked and stuff like that, and so I'll let you know I was even taking some of these farms that you see some of these other people who have been playing for a while. I was taking some of those farms, taking some of the tutorials, but then also just providing my own little tweaks to them to make them work better in my own world. Um, and to be honest, I was getting comfortable enough that when I thought I wanted to see something done with redstone, I would actually just play with it myself. Instead of hopping straight into a tutorial, I would just see if I could kind of figure out the mechanics or figure out what tools in the redstone disposal I had or I'm sorry, in my redstone inventory I had at disposal. And I would just get to work, sometimes spending just a few hours just messing with it and tinkering. I would like to get back to that point here. I do know that some of this stuff functions a little differently on Java, and we have some different opportunities there. So I got to do some research, do some learning, and in the meantime, we'll make sure to give credit where credit's due. If I end up using any of your guys' farms to progress in my world, I definitely want to shout you out and give you guys thanks. If you guys have any that you suggest me building or want to see me take on, leave a comment, leave it in the chat. Let me know who it's by and where I can find it. I'd be more than happy to show you guys me attempting to build it in the hardcore world here. There we go. The storm is broken up. And with that, we can kind of continue working, or at least looking at our goal board and seeing where we were at. Man, that storm got to me. I got a little nervous. I'm not going to lie. I got a little scared. So I went over there to hang out next to my bed just in case. So far, guys, we got the villager breeder materials that we need to gather. We have the villager breeder that we need to build once we get the materials. Once we're done with that, we're going to want to grab the materials for the iron golem farm, as well as maybe even looking to start building this one. Oh yeah, we'll put that on the list too. Build iron golem farm. A little out of order, but that's fine. This isn't necessarily the exact order we're going to do the goals in anyway, so that's all right. What else do we think is important super early game? Oh, yeah, of course. We're going to do some more research on these raid farms. Give me just one moment, though. Rocky, you okay, buddy? You okay, bud? It's okay. Yeah. It's been a rough morning, huh? Having a hard time breathing, huh, buddy? It's okay. Sorry, guys, that's my little buddy. Him and me, we got a lot in common. We're both a little bit asthmatic, and sometimes we just have a little bit of a hard time breathing. So when it happens and I see him going through it, I try to provide him with a little bit of comfort, let him know it's going to be okay, put a hand on his back, and get him breathing slowly, get him breathing calmer, just so that he knows and he remembers that it's okay. We're going to get through this one breath at a time. And if you're with me on Minecraft, we're going to get through this one block at a time. Ah, just kidding. All right, but seriously. So, the other thing we want to add to this goal board is going to be, if we do these things, what we're going to want, like I said, is a Totem of Undying farm. And to do that, I think we need two things. I think we need a Bad Omens farm, or let's see. So, outpost, Bad Omens farm. And then we're also going to want an actual Totems of Dying raid farm. Alright, so we'll have materials gathered, and then let's have that one built, and then let's also put built for the Totems of Undying one. Famer. Let's build that Totems of Undying Famer. You're there with me for that one. Let's see. Farm. Built. All right, guys, and I did do a lot of thinking about it. I think that it might be kind of hard to set up with like no housing, so to speak, right? If we do no building whatsoever, then this is gonna get really odd really fast. So what we're probably gonna do is create little outposts with a little background story, and probably with each city, so to speak, or outpost that we build with lore and story. Uh, Behind it, we're probably gonna build some sort of old background history of a people long lost, and then it'll just be something we discover together. Okay, so that's probably what we're gonna do. It does allow me the opportunity to build kind of in more than one uh, time period, if you will. I can build kind of strewn all across the different time periods, um, and just kind of leave it as maybe even like a world, right? Just lost in time. Maybe time here doesn't actually move in a straight line, right? Maybe it's more like time's constantly circling and closing over itself, if you will. And so what we find is just a bunch of different time period type builds, but all of them in the same state of decay. So for instance, if we have like some of our newer skyscrapers built here in 2026, right? Like our brand new ones, you imagine something most modern we could imagine, right? We could have some of that in here right next to some of the time period stuff that's maybe a little bit more medieval or maybe Renaissance time period. We look at all of that. We can put them all right next to each other, essentially, and have them kind of like deteriorating or overgrown with farmland and stuff like that. And by doing so, we can almost create this presence that like there was no time, there was no progression in time. Instead, maybe in this world, everything just collapsed on itself, and we have remnants of everything still here. So that I think is where we're going to land on it, and that actually leaves me with being able to build some buildings and just make sure that I keep it looking a little bit more on the used end or the decaying end of things. And so I'm pretty excited about that. I'm excited about taking that over in that direction. I'm definitely excited about this direction over here. For this direction over here, guys, I think this is going to be our storage for our three main stone types that I like to build with. So I'm going to probably create what I was thinking about last night, and I was imagining and envisioning while just kind of looking at the landscape. To me, right here, when I look at those three cutouts in the mountain, I could totally picture like three large standing statues, for instance, like maybe knight statues, one of each stone type. So I'm thinking I'm going to put like a deep slate statue right there in the center, a tuft one on the left, and then on the right hand side, we'll do like a cobblestone and mossy cobblestone variation together. And between those three, we'll have like the three knights that hold the stone foundation, if you will, like, right? They hold all of the stone. And so I think that's where we'll put our auto sorters for all of our building blocks when it comes to the stone and each of the different building types and variants you could do with stone. I think that's where we're going to store it. I started doing that in one of my old survival worlds and started breaking it down, like just doing all of Deep Slate's different variations and what you can build with it, and then all of Tuft and all of Cobblestone. And it actually becomes quite a large sorting system in and of itself, just with those three wood, or not wood types, but just those three stone types. So that being said, I kind of didn't like how much it was right next to all my other storage. And I kind of had wished at that point in time I would have separated it and just had stone, and if I need it, I fly to it, or I go to it, and I just know that this is where all of my blocks are for stone. So that's what I'm going to do this time around, and I think it's going to go over there in that mountain. That's going to be Stone Mountain. So, I think in the meantime, right now, what we're going to work on is getting the materials for that villager breeder. I think getting some villagers in our world is going to help quite a bit, especially if we can start trading some of our resources for some emeralds, and then some of those emeralds for some of their resources, right? Like I love when you get a little bit later on, you start getting some of your tools from villagers, as well as some of the other goodies they have for you.